Hi, I'm AJ Risley, and these are the main discs I'll be throwing for the 2021 season. These are my distance drivers. This is my main Lucid Raider. When I'm looking for maximum distance, I'll pull this thing out. A little bit of hyzer, it'll flip up to flat, leaves my hand extremely fast, glides for a mile, and it just goes far. Next up, I have a Fusion Burst Enforcer. This thing is overstable, dependable. I know that I can put a lot of power on it, even into a headwind, and it's gonna fly straight and fight back left at the very end. I can usually count on a pretty good skip on this disc, and I tell you what, it's pretty easy on the eyes. Next, in my distance driver lineup is the Boatman from Westside Discs. It's a little bit slower than the Raider and Enforcer, and that means I can control it that much more. If I'm looking for about the same distance that I would get on a full power shot with a fairway driver, I can pull this thing out and maybe throw it with about 50 to 60% power. Less power means more control, and I like that. We're moving on to fairway drivers. First up is the Explorer from Latitude 64. This run in particular, the Match Play Explorers. It's gold line burst plastic, my favorite plastic of the whole trilogy lineup, and this Explorer in particular goes dead straight. I know that I can throw it with either a fan grip or a power grip, and it's going to go straight, straight, straight with tons of glide. And that's why it always has a spot in my bag. Here we have a Fusion Burst Maverick, also from the United States Amateur Match Play Championship. This disc requires all of my touch. Hyzer flips for days. And I'm gonna start calling this one Butter, because every time I throw it, that's what my card mates say. Butter. Last but not least, in my fairway driver lineup is the best of both worlds, a Lucid X Maverick. This disc can handle some power. It'll get some hyzer flips, but it'll fight back at the end, and it gets tons of glide. And I know that it will fly just about as far as an Explorer, if not as far as my Enforcers. Pretty special, just like the name on there. Y'all know this one. This is a VIP Bard from Westside Discs. I've been throwing this for a few years now, and it is just as reliable as ever. It's what I call a beefy mid. It's a bit taller than, say, an EMAC Truth. It requires a bit more power, but I know that it's gonna hook up left at the very end, and that's why, again, it has a permanent spot in my bag. This is the Lucid Bounty from Dynamic Discs. The first thing I think about is the glide that it has. So much glide. It's a little unstable, which is what I like. It requires a lot of touch, and man, it just carves up the woods with those silky smooth hyzer flip lines, and I can throw it high and wide and just watch it glide from left to right. So many new lines that this disc has created for my game. Now this disc is blank, but it is an EMAC Truth. The EMAC Truth has been around for a long time, but only recently has it found its way into my bag. I just throw laser beams with this disc. It's got a lot of glide, and it comes out of my hand fast and clean. Now we move on to my throwing putters. First up is one of my Team Series discs from 2020, the Lucid X Chameleon Warden. Much like the hybrid Wardens, this disc will go straight, straight, straight with tons of glide, and it can handle a little bit of power. Don't be afraid. This is not my cat. And the disc is a Fusion Slammer. Very overstable. I've been using this to work on my forehand game. If there's ever any wind, I can pull this out for those touchy approach shots and know that it's gonna leave my hand going straight and dump out to the left, and it's not gonna go way too far past the basket. This disc is also very, very reliable. And if you were curious as to what I am putting with, this is a first run Warden. In the classic plastic, this disc, when I hold it in my hands, I can't tell if I've had it for a week or a decade. Me and this disc just gel, and it finds the chains. Every time I putt with this disc, I say a little thank you to my bud, Robert McCall, who was gracious enough to gift this to me. Well, thanks for watching. Those are the main discs that I'll be throwing throughout the 2021 season. If you want to follow my journey, you can find me on Instagram at Risby Jr.